Hello, neighbors, and welcome back to the neighborhood. I'm Squealer D, and I am back again. And never fear, my friends, Squealer D is here, and we are back in the world of money. And this is for all us brokies out there. Guys, if you are watching Investing at 40, if you are watching this, and you guys think to yourself, well, guess what, Squealer D? I'm low on funds. My pocketbook is feeling the pinch. I don't know what to do. I have no money to invest. Well, guess what, guys? You do. You're just at the very, very beginning of investing, and that is called when you are broke. And it's okay. You budget and you learn things when you're broke. And guess what? No matter how much you make, even if you get $10 a month income, there are ways that you can spread that $10. And maybe with $10 you can invest, but guess what you can do? You can spread it out so you can get to a place where you can invest. So we're going to go over this article called Budgeting When You're Broke by Raina Goebel or Gobble or Gobel. But Margaret and Ariel, look, it's a woman team, guys. They are the masters of budgeting when you're broke, these women. So, are you suffering from a lack of cash? It's likely that you don't follow a budget that reflects your earnings. And guys, if you get in my comments and you say, but Squealer D, I do have a budget and I don't have very much money, show me your budget. Let's talk in the DMs. Show me your budget. Because I would argue that smart budgeting cannot be done when you're suffering from a lack of cash. How can you budget for a lack thereof? So, if you're here, you're not here because you can't be in two places at once, guys. This is not red pill, blue pill. Do you want to be in the matrix type of stuff? You can't be in two places at once. So, if you're in a bad place, you are not in a good place. There are things you could do to get in a better place, right? All of us. So, let's go over this and talk about some alternatives because people are like, I understand I could stop buying coffee, but I need coffee every day. Guys, if coffee is your crux, it's mine too. This is a nice little cappuccino, guys. I made it all by myself. No Starbucks required. I even have a little pretentious cup that came from Amazon. And you don't have to put yours in a pretentious cup. I also have a cup from Sherry's. I don't know how I got it. I got it for free. Maybe it walked out of Sherry's with me. I don't know. Or maybe my old roommate carried it out of Sherry's because he used to put cups in his pocket. That's right. Cups of liquid like this in his pants pocket. Don't ask me how that worked, but it worked. And sometimes he would put a cup in his pocket and walk out of a restaurant. And so I have a Sherry's cup. So if you have a free cup that walked out of a hospitality center, that's okay. Or a pretentious cup from Amazon, that's okay too. You don't have to have a nice cup to have a nice cup of coffee. You don't have to have a Starbucks cup to have a nice cup of coffee. So that's all I'm saying. So if you think that you are suffering from a lack of cash, you're really suffering from a lack of and not just, you don't have a good sense of imagination. Sometimes you just have to imagine, guys. And this cup of coffee right here probably cost me 40 cents, guys. 40 cents. And it took me 2 tries. I'm not even going to, when you are learning anything, it's difficult, guys. Everybody would like to go in the kitchen and make a cup of Starbucks, right? Like, wouldn't you love to be able to go in your kitchen and just pull out a Starbucks? That's not the reality of it, guys. The reality of it is, if you're going to save money by making coffee at home, it's probably not going to be as good as Starbucks unless you invest the time into learning to make it like Starbucks, okay? So that's where we're at right now, where you are learning, guys. Everybody thinks that they can just get some, let me hear these 8 different article table of contents views to hit and then I'll be fine with money. That's not how it works. Learning money is just like anything else. It takes invested time, guys. Invested time. You cannot just invest money into money. You have to invest your time. So let's go through this and think of ways you can invest your time to make your life better. So, suffering from a lack of cash? It's likely that you don't follow a budget that reflects your earnings. Smart budgeting prevents eviction, increase credit card debt, and ruin credit scores. It's never too late to achieve your financial goals. Get started now with these 10 steps to make your financial life less stressful. And that is 100% true, guys. It's never too late to achieve your financial goals. I am 40 years old, and I filed bankruptcy at 22 or 23 years old, guys. It doesn't ruin your life. I had offers to get credit cards within a year of filing bankruptcy, and I could have bought a house within that year. So don't worry if you have to file bankruptcy, guys. It will not kill you. You will not die from it. Avoid immediate disasters. Don't be afraid to request bill extensions or payment plans. These requests are often granted. If I go to my public utilities online, there's an option, guys, and it says payment arrangement. And you can make a payment arrangement all the way to 3 months out. And that's just my electric. So, and you don't even have to call and ask anybody for that. It's already on my website. So, guys, if you are feeling the pinch and you can't afford maybe $200 for your electric, look and see if they have a payment plan. In a lot of cases, they do. If it's not online, call and ask them. So, your biggest worry should be eviction. It should be your place to live because you could fix everything else, right? If your biggest worry is eviction from your apartment, talk to your landlord, but also see if you can get extensions on any other expenses to free up money for keeping a roof over your head. There are places online also if you experience job loss and it was sudden. There are places that will help you pay bills, guys. Churches and things like that. If you Google it, resources are available. I know in Washington you can call 211, and 211 is the information number for help for that sort of thing. So, yes, I understand that your rent has to be paid. And if not, you will get kicked out and you'll live in your car until you can't pay your car payment, and then you'll lose your car, and then you'll live in a tent. And if you don't have a tent, you'll live on the side of the street. I get how it works, guys. When I was a little kid, I was homeless. I get being homeless. Everybody sits when they talk about money, and they think that people talking about money have money. And a lot of people that don't have money, they don't like to talk about it. I say, if you have no money, you should be talking more about it. And if you don't understand it, you should be talking the most about it. It's okay to talk about money, guys. So, for instance, suppose that your rent is $650 and you're $200 short. Your bundled phone bill and cable bill is $60. Your electric bill is $100 and your cell phone bill is $40. If these payments are postponed until your next paycheck, you can pay your rent now and avoid eviction. So, let me tell you something, guys. This $60, your bundled phone bill and cable bill, unless you work from home, you don't need that. You can go a month and let it get turned off and pay your rent. I would do that. Your electric bill, like I just told you, they're not going to shut it off for $100 for 1 month late. Payment arrangements, guys. Call them and get your payment arrangements. Your phone bill, same thing. Unless you work on your phone, you don't need your phone. Cancel it. You can go a month without a cell phone. You can get, if you're low income, you can get a free phone from Obama phones, they call them. And it is a free phone from the government for low income people. And it has unlimited data and talk. So you can use it for work or whatever you need to use it for. But those bills, 60 plus 40 plus 100, are $200 that you can go without paying. Don't pay your bills first, my friends. Pay yourself. Make sure you have a place to live. Make sure you eat food. You need to stay alive in order to keep going, right, and make more money. So do that. And I know that seems simple, guys, but lots of people will pay their bills and go hungry. Don't do that. Don't go hungry, my friends. Those bills, that cable bill, that cable company is going to be just fine without your $60. Even if you never pay that bill, that cable company is not going to go out of business off your $60. If you never pay that electric bill, our world will still be fine without you paying that $100. If all of these bills, including your rent, if it all goes to collections and you have a bill for that, it's not hurting anybody, guys. It literally isn't hurting anybody. Yes, you didn't pay the house rent, but homeowners have homeowners insurance for those type of things. Okay? So your landlord, if he doesn't have renter's insurance for people he's renting to, if he doesn't have homeowner insurance to cover his renters and things that they do, that's his bad, not yours. If you have an apartment, you're supposed to have renter's insurance, right? So if you own a home, he's supposed to have homeowner's insurance. Do not worry about these bills. Do not let these bills keep you up at night, because if you die, the world will be fine if these bills don't get paid. So don't worry about it. That's how simple it is. Do not let the stress affect your health over something that literally will not matter if you die at all. You die, your $650 rent, it won't get paid. Somebody else will move into your apartment and it'll be perfectly fine. So, if you have credit cards, guys, review credit card payments and due dates. So, if you're only making the minimum payments on your credit cards, you are flirting with a disastrous credit score. However, avoiding credit card payments will only worsen your debt. So, let me read this and then I'll tell you my opinion on it. For example, suppose that your minimum payment on a $1,000 balance is $40. You failed to pay $40 on time. So you're charged a $35 late fee. In addition, your interest on future charges is charged at the default rate of 25%. Now your credit card is even more difficult to pay off. Before you know it, you have an overwhelming number of late fees and missed payments. This, guys, right here, credit card. If you are at the bottom of the bottom and you cannot make your credit cards, what you have to decide, there are options, guys. They have credit companies that will help you rebuild your credit and pay your credit cards off. They will help you arrange different payments so that you can pay your credit cards down. There are also things like bankruptcy. If you can no longer make these payments and you've lost your job and you are not able to repay it, you could file bankruptcy on credit card payments, guys. And like I told you, bankruptcy is not the end of the world. If you have to file bankruptcy, it's okay. You will not die and nobody will die from you filing bankruptcy, okay? That's the worst thing that could happen is somebody die, right? Nobody's going to die. Next, prioritize bills. Go over all your bills to see what must be paid first and then set up a payment schedule based on your paydays. You will want to leave yourself some catch-up time if some of your bills are already late. If this is the case, call the bill companies to see how much you can pay now to get back on track towards positive status. Tell them you're catching up and going on a stricter budget. Be honest about what you can afford to pay. Sometimes it's instinctual to say you'll pay the full amount on your next paycheck, but you may not have the full amount available after the other expenses take their cut. So don't lie and don't make promises. And when they ask you how much money you have, these bill people always say, well, how much money do you have right now? Say zero, guys. Even if you have $30 in your pocket, you're going to need that $30 for the week for gas, right? They will take that $30. Just tell them, I don't have anything right now. I'm trying to get better. Can you help me? And if they can't, you can go back up to this and think about bankruptcy, because those bills, they'll also fall under a full bankruptcy, guys. And if you're interested in other items about bankruptcy, you can check the folder that we have. It's a playlist called Stock Market Learning. There are other things in there for you to read about budgeting if this is your first video, my friends. So number 4, ignore the 10% savings rule for now. Stashing 10% of your income into your savings account is daunting when you're living paycheck to paycheck. Balance your budget before starting incremental savings. It doesn't make sense to have $100 in a savings plan if you're fending off debt collectors. Your piggy bank will have to starve until you can find stability in your finances. And some people say, but Squealer, I'm still in this rule. Ignore the 10% savings rule for now. How long are you guys going to be there? I get if you're living paycheck to paycheck. Guys, I get it. Paying your bills. How long are you going to live like that? If you're living like that for 10 to 20 years, why not file bankruptcy? Why live paycheck to paycheck for that long? If you got in over your head, guys, do you know how many times Donald Trump filed bankruptcy? Let's see. You know why? Because it's not the end of the world. You got in over your head. You are not a business. You are a person, but you got in over your head, and it's okay. If Donald Trump's business can file bankruptcy 1,000,000 times, how many times did Trump file bankruptcy? How many times? This is fact check. So, Hillary told him, you've taken business bankruptcy 6 times. And he said, on occasion, 4 times, we use certain laws that are there. That's this right here, guys. If Donald Trump wasn't good for anything else in the world, if you hate Donald Trump, just appreciate this one remark that he said. On occasion, 4 times, we use certain laws that are there. Trump's companies have filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which means a company can remain in business while wiping away many of its debts. And people can do that too, guys. Not just businesses. Don't worry about it. If you are in over your head, consider bankruptcy. I don't know where my grandparents filed bankruptcy. My mom should file bankruptcy. She should have filed when we were little kids and got her credit up. Instead, we had a hard time finding apartments, guys, because of bad credit. And I understand that you're going to tell me, but Squealer, apartments won't accept you if you have a bankruptcy. That's not true, my friends. It's not true. Apartment buildings want money. Do you know how many people have filed bankruptcy? What percent has filed bankruptcies? So, according to the government statistics on bankruptcy, 400,000 non-business bankruptcies were filed in 2021. That equates to 0.12% of all Americans filed for bankruptcy. 400,000 people were in over their head. And guess what, guys? 400,000 people did not die. They didn't die. They're perfectly fine. Medical problems cause a lot of people to file bankruptcy. Guys, it's okay. Do not live paycheck to paycheck for 10 years. Do you think Donald Trump lived paycheck to paycheck while he filed bankruptcy on his companies? He most certainly did not, my friends. And he was the president of the United States. I don't care if you like him or not. We elected him as president of the United States. And he was in over his head more than 4 times, or at least 4 times. You're talking about being in over your head 1 time and working 10 years paycheck to paycheck to get it back. Don't do that. File bankruptcy right now. I filed at 22, guys. Graduated college from 2 different colleges. Still had my loans out, or my government grants and things like that, and loans, whatever, federal financial aid. Filed bankruptcy and got myself a career. Now I ended up having 2 major back surgeries, which put me in the disability category instead of working, but I did it. Guys, I had horrible credit, and I filed bankruptcy and went to college. And within 4 years, I was no longer living paycheck to paycheck, because you can write off that debt just like Donald Trump did, and it's okay. Nobody died when I filed bankruptcy. Nobody. So, review your past month's spending. Guys, write everything down. It's not hard. You have most people bank online, right? Go on your phone and write it all down. And don't tell me it's on my phone. That's not helping you. You've been living paycheck to paycheck for how long? Leave it in the comments how long you've been living paycheck to paycheck. Because that means that your phone's not helping you if you're still living paycheck to paycheck. You need to write all of those months, review the months, and write it down. You need to write down every dollar you're spending. You want to know why? Because you write it down with your own little hand and your own little chicken scratch. It means something, guys. If you physically write something down, it means something. They give us all these electronics because they don't want us to physically write things down. Guys, it doesn't stay in your mind. You can think it does, and some people it does, but on the majority, I sound like Donald Trump now. You could think that it does, and it does, but no, literally, there's always that case of, oh, this person does this. Of course, guys, there's always those outliers that don't apply to what I'm saying. But the majority of us, if you physically write it down with your two little fingers and a pencil and you scratch it out, it stays and it means something. So if you write down all these bills that keep you ignoring your savings account, that keep you living paycheck to paycheck, all of these credit card debts. Guys, what did you buy on your credit card? A pool for summer? School clothes for your kids? Food. Write it off. You're going to stand there, you're going to sit there for 5 years and live paycheck to pay off food. Food shouldn't cost that much, you guys. We shouldn't be living paycheck to pay off credit cards to pay for food. Those are actual things we need in life, food and housing. We should not be becoming slaves for our food or our housing. So if you need to write those off, write them off. Write it down. Write down how much you're spending on food, how much your credit card bills are. Write that down, and you will be able to make a better decision once you've written it with your own little fingers. There are also online banking and budgeting software apps that help you categorize spending. Guys, I have this app, and all you do is scan every receipt that you get. You just take a picture of it. Not only does it help me see how much I've spent at different stores and on what, like it shows household supplies. What is my app called? I'm going to tell you guys what the app's called because it helps. It's called Fetch. Fetch is an app, and all it does is give you points for things that you've purchased. So, for instance, if you go to a store and you buy something from Safeway, you earn points, and then you use those points to get credit cards. But credit cards for the store so that you could purchase things, right? But the most helpful part of Fetch, for me, is it shows you. It shows you what you've spent. It shows you all of your receipts. This is a list, guys, on my phone. And this is every single thing I've purchased and every receipt I've scanned. So it shows how much at different stores that I've spent and different categories that I've bought, like travel or how entertainment, retail, restaurants, things like that. It shows. So it helps you keep track of, I have spent this much money on household items in the last month. And you can look back on that every single month. So get yourself an app, guys. It helps you keep track of where you are misspending money. Because if you are living paycheck to paycheck, you are misspending money. Even if that means just paying bills you shouldn't be paying. So, negotiate credit card interest rates. If you have good credit, call your credit card companies and ask for an interest rate reduction. If you don't ask, you won't know. As it's unlikely that credit card companies are going to initiate a reduction on their own. They're not, guys, and they're not going to change your due dates. They're not going to help you do anything. But if you call them before you get in trouble and see if they can help you out. And if you are already behind and you're already in trouble, there are different places you can call. Like I said, there are companies that help you get out of debt, and there are bankruptcy. Look at both. Don't keep paying month to month and living like that forever. Eliminate unnecessary expenses. And this is the biggest one for people. Do you need to cut back on the coffees? And you tell me, but Squealer D, I have to have coffee or I can't go to work. Go into the movies. But I have to go to the movies, my kids, and I need a break. Or do you often have spoiled groceries? Are you wasting money on groceries? All cutbacks should start with items you wouldn't miss, such as switching car insurance companies to get a cheaper rate, or reducing your fresh food purchases if you find food spoiling before you can eat it. Don't buy food you don't eat, guys. Just like this, go back and write down, review, budget. Write down what you eat, guys. Stop wasting food. So many people waste food in their refrigerator. They put in leftovers and they don't eat the leftovers. Stop wasting food. If you have to, make your food ahead of time. Yeah. Make your food as you eat it. Whatever works, guys, but don't let your groceries spoil, okay? Like I said, maybe you cut out Starbucks and you get yourself a $100 espresso machine and you make your own espresso. It's great, guys. So, journal a new budget for 1 month. Once you've gone through the first 8 steps, monitor your progress by journaling for 1 month. You can do this by noting everything you spend in a notebook, budgeting apps on your phone, or with financial software. How you track your money isn't as important as how much you're tracking. Focus on ensuring that every cent is tracked by dividing your expenses into categories such as rent, food, clothing, and utilities. And every time I talk to somebody about money or weight, they say the same thing, guys. I don't have anything that I can cut out. I'm saving as much money as I can. I'm budgeting. I'm writing everything down. I don't have one extra penny to move around. Well, then congratulations. But if you've done that, then you need to go back up here and, like I said, file bankruptcy. Because if you have cut everything out and you've journaled and you've done all that and you still can't afford anything but your month-to-month expenses, you have to file bankruptcy. You have to move. If your rent is taking $600 and you don't have the $600 for it, you need to move. And I know that that's horrible to say because there are no affordable housings. If you move, you're not going to find a cheaper place. But that is, my friends, why you have to write it down and you have to do more. Because we have to do more as a society. There are no affordable housing. So if you're living month to month, there might not be a next step for you to cut any more cost or any more money out of your budget. You just might not be able to. Affordable housing is non-existent in this country anymore. And that's because they let the big corporations buy our real estate. They buy our real estate. A big corporation has no business buying personal real estate, but they are, guys. And then we're renting from big corporations that don't care about how much our budget is. They don't care. All they care about is getting the max that they can get from rentals. That is why you guys should have been happy with a landlord, because a landlord at least is a normal person, not a corporation. Once a corporation starts dealing with your rent, they don't care about how much money you have. They're not humans. They're corporations. They are an entity for money, making money. So if we let corporations buy our public housing and then we want to live in it, that's not going to work, guys. So number 9 is adjust spending as needed. If after journaling for 1 month, you found your budget isn't where it needs to be, get prepared to make changes. Look at how much you're over budget and decide where you can cut. Don't rule out items that are viewed as basics, such as groceries, utilities, or rent. Cooking from scratch can eliminate the cost of prepackaged foods, and opting for generic brands over name brands will equal big savings on a cart of groceries. Utilities can be reduced by turning off lights when you leave the room, or using a lamp instead of elaborate track lighting. You may be able to negotiate better rent the next time your lease is up, or you could always move to a less expensive place. And we just talked about that, guys. That probably is not going to be an option very much longer. Negotiating rent and moving to a cheaper place, that's not America. But the groceries, I agree with. Cook your food, guys. I cannot tell you how much cheaper it is to cook your food because it's so ridiculous. We didn't even buy a lot of prepackaged foods. We never go out to eat. But just change to buying our food once a month rather than buying it, once a week or whatever. We save $500, guys. We invested in a $250 freezer so that we can buy the meat for the whole month. And then we go shopping one time. And we have cut our grocery bill by over $500. Do you know how big $500 is? It's huge. And all that means is every night you need to cook. And then you're going to tell me, well, I don't have time. Well, guess what time is, guys? Time is money. You're either going to have to spend the money for the prepackaged foods and find another job, or you're going to have to give the time to cook the food, because time is money, guys. And your time equals money. And money equals your time. So you're going to have to give up your time one way or another, either to work another job to afford better food, or to cook the less better food so you can save money. You have to give up one. Your time is equal to money, and that's what people have to understand. So seek out new sources of income. If your current budget doesn't balance or you're barely scraping by, you may need to look at working overtime, getting a second job, becoming a slave, or possibly getting a new higher paying job. Guys, this is what they want everybody to do. Work multiple jobs. Stop working for less than you're worth. Just stop. If you are already scraping by, why scrape by as a slave? You'll do better at the park living on a bench than being a slave, killing yourself with stress. And people wonder why there's so many people that are addicted to drugs and alcohol, because they can't handle the stress of living day to day when things don't work. And a lot of people were born into a situation where things don't work. And it's hard for people to understand that weren't born into that situation. Like, what type of situation will make you want to be a bum more than just go to work every day? And a lot of situations, guys. If you're born into a place where you don't have a home and you were homeless, I don't think that you're going to treasure a home the same way that some people do. My parents, when I was young, never owned a home. I do not see how home ownership the same as other people see home ownership. And I know that because, I was homeless as a child and we never owned a home. So do not judge people based on the fact that they grew up different than you, or they may have learned things differently than you. These people that people say are lazy, houseless, whatever slurs they use on people that are homeless, they may not have even experienced life the same way you did. So we need to start giving our fellow people a little bit of grace and stop giving corporations so much grace. They can tell you to get another job or get a higher paying job or work overtime rather than pay you a livable wage. Walmart does not pay a livable wage, guys. But how many people are employed at Walmart? So we tell people, go ahead and go get food stamps and work at Walmart rather than tell them to get things correct in their life and figure things out with their mental health or their physical health or whatever else they need. We don't include that. We just say go be a low-paying worker. And that doesn't work. It just doesn't work, and we can see it not working in America. So the bottom line is, when you're short on cash, a strict budget is your best tool for correcting your situation. That is 100% truth, guys. Go strict. When your child has bad acne, I'll tell you how to fix it. If your child has bad acne, what you do is you go strict. Go strict on the acne. You go strict washing it 2 times a day. And you explore all the different types of creams and washes you can for your child, right? Maybe you even check out prescription medicine because their acne is so bad. You check out cutting out all sugar, right? Because sugar can activate acne. You cut out all grease because grease can activate acne, right? You go super strict on acne when your child has acne. And what happens if it becomes backne and it gets really bad? It's on their back and things are getting sad for them. Their face looks like people at school call them pizza face. Guys, we get strict, right? You ask your son, he's 15, honey, are you washing your face twice a day? Let me see how you wash your face. If your kid's breath stinks, you get strict on it, right? Let me see how you're brushing your teeth. Are you brushing your teeth? Go brush your teeth. Get strict on your income. Get strict on yourself. Am I saving my money? Do I need this coffee? Do I need to stop and get McDonald's? The kids are really this hungry, or they can wait until we get home and we get a peanut butter and jelly. Get strict on it. If you start gaining 15 pounds, you get strict on it, right? People that are not overweight, they get strict. They say, oh, I need to eat littler amounts, or I need to stop eating so many donuts, or I need to stop going to Starbucks. They get strict on it. So get strict like that on your budget, on your money. Stop paying ridiculous fees for Netflix when you actually watch one thing on Netflix a month. Stop watching all these movies that you pay for. $20 to watch a movie as soon as it comes out? That's ridiculous. It'll be free soon. And if it's not free, maybe catch it on YouTube. Guys, there are free movies on YouTube. Get strict with your budget. That's my soapbox for the day. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Be there or be square. Have a great day, neighbors.